Hey guys, it's Dave. Thank you so much for watching as always. Happy Friday. Today I just wanted to have a quick discussion about why you should invest in the space industry. I get this question fairly regularly when there's so much out there, and I'm not saying you should invest solely in the space industry by any means, but this is just going to be my little pitch to investors out there why the space industry deserves at least a little slice of your portfolio. I hope you do find this interesting. If you're new here, I hope you consider hitting that subscribe button by the end of the video. If you're not new here, those likes and comments help out as well, and I'll be sure to check them out down below. Okay, so high level, why should you invest in the space industry when there's so much else going on? If you are anything like me, you already have a massive advantage if you're investing in the space industry and you don't even really realize it, because I'm a bit of a space fan, of course. I have been for a long time. I like to follow a lot of these companies. I like to watch rocket launches and all the rest. And then I was just like, so what? But as I've followed the space industry as an investor now over the past couple years, I've realized that a lot of these analysts, a lot of these big funds and companies covering the industry, thinking about investing or writing reports, really don't know it that well beyond their spreadsheets. They just input data into their spreadsheets and try to output their model what will be the most profitable company in the future, what will have the strongest cash flows or whatever, what kind of valuation it's worth. So whereas you or me, when Astra was telling us a few years ago that they were going to launch a rocket every single day, I was more than able to call bullshit on that, and I know a lot of other space fans were as well. Frankly, there wasn't the demand for it. It just didn't make sense. The whole plan didn't really make sense to me, so I sidestepped that one. Of course, Astra was a complete disaster of a stock before eventually delisting. What do a lot of these analysts do? Well, they take Astra's projections, which they give out saying, oh, we're going to launch one rocket a day by X date. They just input the revenue into their DCF model and spit out what the valuation could be worth in the future if Astra does execute, discount that back to present day based on, discounting cash flows 15% a year or whatever they use, and boom, there's your valuation model. Astra, 5xing when it goes public and things getting way out of hand. So not gonna lie, there is a lot of what I like to call landmines in the space industry, and these are companies that are all hype and their stock may short-term go through the roof, whether that's based on a meme trade, based on inflated projections that were never realistic, and people just not understanding the industry and understanding the technology. And you can make money on those too by betting against them if you want. Now, I have done it a few times, but I do prefer to bet on who's going to win instead of who's going to lose. It just feels better to put my money toward good companies and support that cause as opposed to putting my money against companies that I think are going to fail. But both are valid tactics. I mean, we don't make the rules of the game. We just play by them, and you better believe the big Wall Street funds are more than happy to short your favorite company and try to drive them into the ground if they think it will make them a profit. So we really have to do the same as retail investors, and we have a massive advantage there, as I said, just in terms of technical knowledge. You wouldn't believe it. I've followed some companies, saw some news coming up, which I thought was absolutely obvious that it was going to happen. Things like Intuitive Machines landing a big contract, which they had been telegraphing for months, or, Rocket Lab landing a big deal or whatever. And I always just think, okay, this is obvious it's going to happen. And you even tend to know when it's going to happen, whether that's by rumors, the company kind of foreshadowing it or forecasting it, and you still get these big moves in the stock when it happens. So by following what you're going to do anyway as a space fan, you really get to learn which company is technically sound, who has a good team, good management, good fundamentals, and is a real business and can make you a lot of money over the long term. It's an advantage we should really take over those spreadsheet guys because, frankly, we don't have enough advantages. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't make your own spreadsheets. You absolutely should, but you're informing that with your knowledge of the team that's actually going to execute. And we know that because we love watching those launches, love watching the lunar landings, love watching the rovers and all the rest anyway. The space industry is projected to grow at a much faster rate than the overall US economy over the next 5, 10, 20, even 50 years. Some projections going out way into the future, although I do have to admit, I think they lose their accuracy going out that far because so much could change. But that's number one. You're going to get massive growth compared to a lot of other industries. What's driving this? Well, the space industry is now going commercial, where it used to be really all run by governments. We're now seeing companies play bigger and bigger roles. And it's not just SpaceX, although of course they're very big right now. A lot of major companies are going to be relying on space more and more in the future. Just look at the likes of Apple implementing their own emergency connectivity systems using Globalstar, MDA, and Rocket Lab to backbone that system, allowing emergency connectivity anywhere in the world. Then you have Amazon's Kuiper building out a competitor to Starlink, looking to allow for global internet connectivity anywhere on the world. Of course, ASTS similarly looking to connect cell phones everywhere on the world. And so much more is going on right now, especially when you think about the moon. NASA really trying to get back there, China really trying to get back there, Europe getting on board, more and more money spent to push further, and more private companies relied on to get us there. Really just a massively growing industry right now. And beyond that, and using your knowledge to gain an upper hand and to make some really good money, I am a real believer in investing in the future you want to see. So if you're a space fan like me, you want to see a better future for space where humans are regularly going to the moon, going to Mars and beyond. I mean, it was so depressing for me personally when the shuttle shut down, born after when we could see humans walking on the moon with Apollo, and it seemed like nothing was happening in terms of returning to the moon or going to Mars or even further. Was quite a depressing time, and really the new commercial paradigm is pushing us out of it, driving down costs to lower than they've ever been before. Launch costs are so cheap right now with reusable rockets, not only from SpaceX, but a lot of other companies also working on it, like Rocket Lab and many others. And it's really an exciting time for the space industry. If you do follow it closely, you really can make a lot of money. I've done quite well so far on Rocket Lab, on Intuitive Machines. I almost bought Redwire and missed out on that one, but it's one I'm looking to get into at some point in the near future. Planet Labs, they've done less well on the Earth observation side of things, but I do think there's a chance they really turn this thing around and really make the entire Earth searchable. They're able to image the entire Earth every day, track all the changes, climate, weather, agriculture, war fighting domains. There's so many different uses of this, and the AI really will unlock all that data. Of course, Rocket Lab I love. I've got more than a double on them, and I really do feel good about having my money go towards that exciting space future, making humans go back to the moon, get a base there and beyond, and hopefully my kids have a little bit of a more exciting space industry to follow than I did when I was younger and shuttle was canceled. So if you're new to this channel, I hope you'll consider subscribing as we cover these space companies closely and try to look for deals and support companies that we think are really great. If you're not new here, do let me know down below what space companies you love the best. I'm sure there's a lot of Rocket Lab fans, but I do like to hear about the Redwires, the Intuitive Machines, the Planets, and all the others, and what you think is the best deal right now. Love to hear all that down below, and do tell me why you got into investing in the space industry. I always love to hear those stories as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember, be careful out there when you're investing in the space industry, because there is a lot of hype companies that do go to zero. Make sure you do your due diligence and do your research. But if you can pick some winners, you can do very well for yourself. And hopefully we can all come along for the ride and enjoy the exciting, burgeoning space economy. Please do consider subscribing. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.